Hey everyone, this is Scott from the Forgot to Grow podcast. Welcome to another edition of ReWatching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Today we're going to be talking about Season 3, Episode 14, Watchdogs. I'm just going to be starting off with the plot summary and then just talking about some different elements I noticed foreshadowing and just some parts that I liked in this episode. So let's just start with that plot summary, which says Mac, struggling with the departure of Bobby and Hunter, takes time off to be with his brother Ruben when an online hate group called the Watchdog uses Howard Stark developed nitramine bombs to perform a terrorist attack on an ATCU facility. Coulson suspects that former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Felix Blake, who had been committed to the advancement of nitramine technology and has been missing since having his back broken by S.H.I.E.L.D., has taken over the Watchdogs group. Ruben becomes disillusioned with Mac when he leaves to investigate a Watchdog base and accidentally reveals his S.H.I.E.L.D. agent status. But Mac is able to improve their relationship when he fends off a group of the terrorists that attacked the brothers. Coulson takes Lincoln to search Blake's known safe houses, and the two are confronted by Blake in one via hologram. He reveals that Hydra is backing him and the Watchdogs in their current crusade to kill all Inhumans, and S.H.I.E.L.D. realizes that the attack was a cover for Hydra to steal something from the ATCU. So that's the plot summary for this episode. I did enjoy this episode because we got a little bit more action in it via the Watchdogs, even though it's terrorist stuff, which is always bad. But it was an interesting new element for the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to kind of fight up against, which is this terrorist organization, which is specifically going after Inhumans and has a lot of hate. We've had them mentioned before, which we saw a little flashback at the beginning of this episode during the recap. But yeah, so that part of this episode is kind of cool that they get introduced. I like that they had the writers thought to why not bring an old S.H.I.E.L.D. agent in, so bringing back Agent Blake to head the ATCU, which makes sense. Like his logic to for being on the Watchdog side makes sense because he had his back broken by Deathlock, who isn't necessarily an Inhuman, but is an enhanced individual, and the Watchdogs tend to kind of just group those together. So to me, it made sense, like his reasoning, his rationale behind it. So I thought it was an interesting way to bring that character back, and yeah, it was just a cool kind of addition. I like that Coulson, figures out that he just being Coulson, having known this guy, uses some of that information to be able to track the guy in this guy's safe houses, as well as know that he's stalling him for some reason and that he's not interrupting as much as often. That's how he knows he was a hologram. So I just thought that was kind of just an interesting thing interesting element they brought into this episode. But yeah, also with Mac visiting his brother, that was a cool other element. Just having the characters kind of expanding the characters. Wow. No, that came out right. Expanding the characters, kind of backstory a little bit, introducing us to some of their family members. And I thought that was a cool, interesting way, especially with Mac and his brother, having these kind of disillusionment with Inhumans kind of agreeing with the Watchdogs at first until he kind of sees them in action and when they try to take him and his brother out. So I thought that was a kind of interesting dynamic they added to this episode. It was a nice Mac-centric episode, along with, Daisy coming in to kind of show her point of view, the fact that she is the one that they're kind of, calling a freak, and it's like, okay, well, come on guys, that's a little mean. But some of the cool things were there's just a few little Easter egg mentions. One point, Agent Blake, or former Agent Blake, Felix Blake, mentions Ultron, and I was just like, they said Ultron, and I just love those little things. I love those little connections to the MCU, as well as damage control. They said damage control, and this episode definitely came out before Spider-Man Homecoming came out, so this, I believe, is the first mention in the MCU of damage control, but I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong, to be honest, actually. Anyways, I just like that they mentioned that at the end. Daisy mentions, to Mac's brother that damage control will come and handle that. So I thought that was just a cool little Easter egg. This is probably around the time when they were thinking about developing that show, but then they didn't. But the last thing I just had written down was Mac used a shotgun axe in this one, which is a little bit of a stretch on the expression axe, or the term axe, because it was a cleaver. Cleaver. But whatever, I still liked it. I like that he said it. I like that he keeps, messing around with it until eventually he gets the real thing, and I can't wait to see that during this rewatch. But yeah, that's all the stuff I liked in particular about this episode. Be sure to let me know in the comments below if there was any Easter eggs or foreshadowing I missed, or anything in particular you liked about this episode. But thanks again for joining me today, and have a good one.